Everyone, welcome to your brand new episode of Gut Feelings, where we talk to experts and celebs about matters of the head, heart, and health. I am your host, Lo Bosworth, the founder of Love Wellness. You can find us at Walmart, Target, Ulta, Amazon, and of course, lovewellness.com. On this show, I ask the questions that you want answered so that we can all figure this stuff out together. So today, I'm absolutely thrilled to have the incredible Tunde Oyeneyin with us on. You might know her as a New York Times bestselling author, the face of Peloton, an incredible fitness instructor. But what you might not know is the journey that she has been on to get here. Growing up, Tunde faced her own battles with body image and self-esteem, like a lot of us. It was not easy, but she poured years of hard work into reaching a healthy place, both physically and mentally. Fitness became her sanctuary. We have some great questions, so join me in welcoming Tunde to the show. Hi, Tunde. Welcome to the show.
Hey, girl. Hey, how are you, Miss Lo?
I think I'm getting sick. I'm so tired.
No. It's summer.
And you look
what goes around in summertime? Wait, does everything go around in summertime, actually?
I have no idea, but I have bad flare-ups of Epstein-Barr, and I had COVID 4 times. So sometimes when I'm stressed out, I just get flare-ups of something. I don't know. It's it just feels kind of like chronic fatigue to a certain degree. But the last few days I've been so tired. And if you've ever dealt with illness for a long period of time, if you feel a little unwell for a day or two, you get so afraid that, oh my God, maybe it's coming back. And I feel sort of emotionally paralyzed. So maybe you can bring me out of it today.
First of all, COVID 4 times, that's rough.
Rough.
It's one of those things when every single time I'm sick, I have the same conversation with one of my girlfriends and I say, we don't give enough praise and gratitude for when we are well in our body. When you wake up and you are good in your body, you just expect that is how the body is. And it's not until you're sick or something hurts or you're nursing an injury. It's not until those moments that you realize how wild it is and amazing it is that your body shows up for you on the days that it shows up for you. Yeah, it's crazy.
You're so right. You hit the nail on the head. Anyway, I feel like I could go to bed, but you, on the other hand, are so full of energy and life. You are glowing. You're clearly so healthy and happy. And I mean, how are you doing? It's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. Girl, that's oil. I've been running around all day. It's oily skin deceiving you as a glow, but I'll take it.
Oh, it just looks like a gorgeous glow. I love that.
Thank you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show. I have taken some of your Peloton classes. So for people that don't know, Tunde is the global face of Peloton. And I feel like most people have taken a Peloton class at some point. And so we're just so happy to have you on the show. And at Love Wellness, we are all about health and wellness in women's bodies. And so it's just so great to have you today. I want to dive right into the questions. We get some listener questions. Some of the questions come, right from me. And I think in your position, you are primed to answer what I want to talk about today. So one of the first questions, I relate to a lot, especially because of, some of the chronic fatigue and stuff that I just shared with you. A lot of people really struggle to find the motivation to exercise and take care of their physical health, whether they have some kind of physical health ailment or some kind of mental health challenge. And I'm just curious, do you have any personal experience with this? Because I feel like we look at people who are in the fitness world, you're so accomplished. How do you do this? Have you always been this way? Have you always been able to get up every single day and be I have 10 classes to teach. I'm going to be on the cover of Women's Health magazine.
How do you
do it?
To tell the story, I have to rewind and say I was the kid who tried out for every single sport and never made the cut.
Oh my gosh.
Was not athletic. I was not coordinated. I'm still not very coordinated. I was teased, picked on, made fun of for my weight growing up. And so I won't say that none of this is natural for me. This is all trained. This is all skilled, something I practiced, something I learned to do. Spoiler alert, I'm a health and fitness coach. 99.9% of the time when I'm working out, I don't want to work out. I don't want to do it. It's just a matter of training myself to know how to move past the hurdle or the speed bump of that thought that's inside or that feeling of not wanting to actually move. And for me, I do it. I get myself through it because I love the reward on the other side of it. After a workout, like that feeling mentally, physically, it feels so sweet. And so it's almost, I chase that high, like not the high of the workout, but what I know I will experience and feel on the other side of it.
Yeah, I think about sort of like the after effect or what you gain is like the dessert, it's like the cherry on top type of thing. And that's why you do it, right? But I'm like, I want to double tap or double click on the hump, right? It's like I lay in bed, I think about working out, and instead of being able to focus on that positive outcome and how great I'm going to feel, I think a lot of people share this is like you just focus on those negative thoughts and the physical discomfort, and you say it's like a muscle that you have to develop, like metaphorically, I suppose. But like, how did you learn how to do that in the early days? Or like, did you have a great coach? Like, did you read something profound that like changed your relationship with moving your body?
Yeah, for me, it was like, I always say to anybody who's at the beginning of like their wellness journey, you have to want to do it for you. Because if you're doing it for someone else, if that person ever exits your life, then your reason to continue also leaves with that person. And so I had to do it for me. I remember I got to this place that I just needed a life change. I was tired of feeling like an other. And so that's when I made the decision to change up my habits. I will say, I think that, Lo, I think where most people kind of face challenges, we give ourselves these really lofty goals. Like you say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm starting on Monday.
I'm starting today.
I'm starting Monday, Sunday, Tuesday. If somebody says today, that's actually great. Like if you're starting on a Thursday, then you mean it, right? You're not even waiting till the weekend to pass for one more victory party. But like, I think that so often people say, okay, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. I'm cutting the this, I'm cutting the that. I'm not eating this, I'm not eating that. We focus so much of what we're going to take out of our routine, and we focus less on what we're going to put in. And that could be,
and I think ultimately what you gain, right?
And ultimately what you gain. I think, when I set out, I lost over 70 pounds. And when I set out on this journey, I set out to lose weight, and I did. I did not know that what I was going to gain from it would be far more fruitful. I gained a sense of purpose. I gained a sense of understanding. I know how strong I am. I know that I can give myself a goal, and I can keep, and I can keep myself to it. But, kind of going back to this idea of like, we create these wild goals. I think that it can start with 10 minutes rather than saying, I'm going to stay on the treadmill for 1 hour. Give yourself a goal of 10 minutes. And if it feels good after 10 minutes, continue to move. When you tell yourself, I'm going to work out for an hour, or if you told yourself, hey, I'm going to work out for 10 minutes seems so much more achievable. This morning, I told myself I was going to get on the treadmill for 10 minutes. And then I stayed on much longer than that because I wanted to.
At that mark, you felt good, and you're like,
at that mark, I felt
good.
To
keep going.
At that mark, it's like a mental thing. Like it's a mental health thing where you get out a little bit of sweat, and your body and your mind do this connecting thing, and you realize that movement is medicine, and it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I like the idea of movement as medicine. And I think we can be so disconnected from our bodies, right? Whether it's the food that we eat, the phones that we're scrolling on, like the jobs that we sit at all day, right? Like we are human beings. We should be out like hunting, gathering, and like, I don't know, going for swims in rivers and stuff.
Yeah, my teammate Rob Marizone, she always says that. She says movement is medicine. But it's like, you know the foods that upset your stomach, the foods that make your body feel good. And then like the movement that allows you to connect your mind to your body. And so I say focus on doing more of the movement that you love versus saying that you're taking out things from your lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's a helpful way to think about it. I'd love to talk about body image a little bit. You like literally get on camera all the time and exercise in front of so many people, you were on the cover of Women's Health magazine. Like, how do you feel about body image in your role every single day? Is it hard for you to get on camera every single day?
Yeah, I joke about that because I think people assume that, you know, as a fitness instructor, you feel great in your body all the time, every day, and you're happy.
I mean, just looking at you, I would assume that you have sky high confidence.
I have a photo shoot tomorrow. I've been having this shoulder issue thing, and so I haven't really worked out in 3 weeks. I don't feel like I'm in my normal body. And then I have to stand half naked in front of a room of 30 people as I pose and feel uncomfortable with myself. I'm a human being, right? I'm a human being. I think for me, the practice that I practice is trying to allow myself to be okay with giving myself grace. You know, I think that like we are so much kinder and nicer to everyone else in our lives. We're kinder and nicer to everyone else more than we are to ourselves. And so I try to communicate the same language to myself that I would a friend, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's real life. It's real life. Yeah.
That's positive self-talk, I think, instead of negative self-talk.
Yeah. And I try to like point out the thing that I like. It's like, okay, I don't love this thing about myself today, but I really do love this thing. And so I try to like lean into that or play into that feature. I also remind myself that at the end of the day, nobody really cares. Like we're all so busy focusing on ourselves that nobody has time. And so I just try to remind myself that the world doesn't see me like I see me. The world doesn't see you like you see you. Like we have time to sit and stare and pick ourselves apart. And most of it is just the story that we are creating for ourselves. Most of it is the story that we are creating. And that same story is what continues to hold us hostage. It holds us hostage in our body. It holds us hostage in the way that we move and the way that we show up to the world.
So you're saying that not everybody is as obsessed with me as I am obsessed with me?
Nobody is sadly, nobody is as obsessed with you as you are obsessed with you. Amen. Put that on a t-shirt.
What?
Put that on a t-shirt.
No, but I completely agree with you. Honestly, I think about this when I'm on social media all the time because I think about that constantly, but actually through like a positive self-talk type of way. Like it actually can really help you to have that realization because it allows you to detach from your ego and allows you to get so much more comfortable with just existing. And I think about this sometimes when, you know, a friend comes to me with, you know, some kind of problem and they're afraid of what everybody's going to think about them. I'm like, really, girl? Like nobody cares about this thing,
right?
Even an iota as much as you care about this thing, and nobody cares about what you're going to look like on the internet or if people are going to say anything about you. And if they do, it might be for 1 second and then they move on.
But there's always somebody on the other side that is the thing that you are looking in the mirror and you are hating about yourself.
Yeah.
There's somebody on the other side and they love you for that reason. They admire you for that reason. And so I often have to remind myself that what I'm seeing, while perception feels real, it's not actually my reality. It is the story that I continue to repeat. And anything that I repeat to myself, I will believe. And so in those moments, I try to repeat positive self-talk.
How did you learn those lessons? Or where did you sort of gain this insight from? Because everybody that is able to do what you are saying has to have some kind of starting point where they didn't have the tools in the toolkit. Do you want to know what I mean? And so like what's your sort of positive self-talk origin story? Because I know, you know, you've shared a lot, you know, in different articles and, you know, on podcasts and stuff about, you know, how you changed your body. And, you know, you really have had such a full circle experience, I think. And I'm just like so curious, like you're so positive, but getting there must have been challenging, and learning how to really change your perception over time, I think is something that requires like a lot of time and practice. So like, I'm just curious, like, how did you get started with this? Like,
I think it stems from, I've been very vulnerable and open about how I feel in myself to my
yeah.
really close people like my best friends, like not the frenemy, like the one that's like not the real friend, like I share things with my real friends. And I say that to say who you entrust with your information, I think it shapes who you are and who you are becoming. Who you entrust with like the darkest, deepest thoughts.
Yeah.
The person that you tell, they have so much power because they're going to react to what you say, and that informs the way that you think. And so I say, like, my the people that I trust my words with, I've shared how I feel about myself and my body. And oftentimes when I'm saying it, when I say it out loud, I get to hear myself. So when I'm telling them the thing, I hear it, right? So that's part of like, kind of like pulling back from it, like, okay, girl, you're tripping. And then, that person has that information and they see someone, I'm admiring someone else's body. I say, oh my God, wow, look at her legs. And then a friend say, Tunde, that's exactly what you look like. And it's those moments where you step back and again, you're forgiving with other people. You look at a person's body and you admire it on them. And then we all have maybe some form of not seeing ourselves the way that we are. And I'd say that, yeah, like I just have really good friends who slap me silly and talk sense into me. I told you I have a photo shoot tomorrow, didn't get to train for it. It is what it is. Allowing myself grace. I talked with one of my girlfriends this morning and she goes, Tunde, you're actually crazy. On your worst day, you are still beautiful. And just hearing her say that, I'm like, okay. Now I say that to say like, I could have kept all my feelings and all my things inside. And then I wouldn't have had this person to shake me out of the darkness I tried to place myself in. And so to answer your question, it really is just like, I have a really good core group of people that know me, that see me, and remind me who the hell I am.
I love that. I mean, I hope for everybody that they have some kind of community that is a positive feedback loop, with your life, because I relate to so much to everything you're saying. I think about the certain friends that I, chat with and text with on a daily basis. And you're so right. You can feel so down, but the way that others think about you typically is through this like magical, glowy, she can do anything kind of light, because they actually see from outsider POV, like what you do every day and your capacity and how strong and brilliant you are. And so, yeah, I mean, that positive feedback loop, I think, is like necessary to remind you of that sometimes.
I remember it was probably 20 years ago because it was when Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were dating the first time. So like 20 years
ago. First time.
I think J-Lo was like on the Tyra show maybe. And Tyra asked her, they were talking about how beautiful J-Lo was, and J-Lo's reaction to it was kind of, she kind of leaned away from it. And then Tyra said, well, do you not see yourself as flawless? And J-Lo, she's like, oh, well, my nose is kind of crooked and I have a chipped tooth. And sure, her nose was a little crooked and maybe, yeah, she had a little bit chipped tooth. Never saw it before, didn't care. J-Lo, you're still perfect. You're beautiful. You're amazing. But in that moment, I realized, oh my God, even J-Lo has insecurities. So if J-Lo has insecurities, then like, it's like this thing that we're kind of all designed to feel from time to time. At the beginning of this year, I started a challenge. It was called 24 Soul. I challenged my followers for 24 days, rather than, what many fitness coaches were doing at the time, the traditional, like, let's all get fit, let's all work out, let's all eat the things for 30 days. I wanted to kind of do the opposite of that. And for 24 days, do things that were for the better of your soul. Do things that enriched your soul. And so whether it was going to a cooking class or dancing at home with music on for 24 minutes or meditating for 24 minutes or working out for 24 minutes or playing with your kids, like doing things that made you feel good. But the challenge each day, the challenge started with you looking at yourself in the mirror and identifying one thing that you love about yourself. It could be your hair. It could be your shoulders. It could be your skin. It could be your smile. It could be your eyes. And what I learned at the end of the challenge, because many people wrote me to tell me about their experience. One, it was very, very challenging after day 3 to find something that you loved about yourself. Or that you liked about yourself. But it was also this space where you had to be really vulnerable and look at yourself in the mirror with nothing on, just you. And really like look at yourself. And for me personally, by the end of the 24 days, I was almost more specific about the love that I have for myself. It's almost a difference between a guy saying to me, "Hey, Tunde, I love you," and saying, "Hey, Tunde, I love you because you're kind. I love you because you listen. I love you because you're thoughtful." It was just more detail. So, but the beginning of the challenge, day 1, I said, "Oh, I like my skin." And by the end of the challenge, I said, "I love my skin because I love the way it glows when the light hits it. I love my skin because it shows my muscles and the bends and the folds of my body." And so it was almost this deeper connection and appreciation to self. And so I would say to anyone who is struggling to see themselves, give yourself the gift, the challenge of looking yourself in the mirror, as comfortable as it may be, and find yourself. Find things that you appreciate. And if there's only one thing, then you roll your shoulders back and you walk proud through that day, acknowledging that one thing that you really love about yourself. I think I know for me and for, again, the people that did the challenge with me, it completely changed the experience that I have with, and the relationship that I have with myself and my body.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that idea. Is that like content listeners can still go find? Is that like somewhere on your website or your feed? If they like go back in time,
it's probably on my highlight reel on my Instagram. I don't think I did the best job of saving all the things, but some of it still exists there.
Okay, cool. That's really helpful. Walk me through your typical day. I'm curious. God. You are so busy.
I don't have a typical day. I don't.
Okay, well, walk me through an atypical day. I'm so curious.
Some days I'm home. When I'm home, I wake up, I sing a song to my dog to let him know it's a new day. If I'm home, then I have maybe meetings that I take from home, jump on a fun podcast with someone like you, Lo. I'm a keynote speaker, and so I'm usually on a plane a couple of times a week.
A week? Oh my gosh, that's exhausting.
Typically, it looks like taking meetings, doing some type of something like this. Then I take lots of meetings. Then I race off to the studio. I teach 2 or 3 classes. I shower. I hop on a plane. I wake up the next morning. I do a speech. I get back on a plane. I drive to the studio. I teach another class. I come home, try to find who has my dog because I don't remember who I dropped my dog off with. And then I program classes for the next day. And so, yeah, it's crazy. It's hectic. It's busy. And I think I've kind of like morphed into this person that enjoys being busy. Rewind. Like I'm crazy in the crazy. And then when the crazy is calm, I almost in those moments, I create work to do for myself. I realize that I like achieving things. I like advancement. And in order to advance, you have to move. And so I've found this space where, let me rewind and say I am wildly fortunate and blessed that I love the many jobs that I have. I really love what I get to do. My world, whether it's the literary piece of it, my book, or speaking, or leading cycling classes, or at Peloton, or the work that I do with Nike, every single day I get to wake up and hopefully positively impact the lives of other people. Like, I get to wake up and perform and serve other people for good. And so that's what I wanted to do. I'm doing the work that I wanted to do. That work has also allowed me to live out some of my wildest dreams and meet really incredible people. And it's a lot, and I'm busy and I'm tired. But I love it. Yeah.
I love that too. Well, thank you, Tunde. This was such a great time. You had so many incredible nuggets of wisdom, tools to share with our listeners. I sort of feel like this was like an extended Peloton class to a certain degree. Peloton, like for your mind and soul.
But our eyebrows didn't sweat off. We got to keep our eyebrows on, so that's nice.
100%. But you are so fantastic. Where can everybody find you?
Find me on Instagram at Tunde, and I have a TikTok. What's my TikTok? It's the same thing. Instagram and TikTok at Tunde.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Everybody, please join me. Big thank you for Tunde to coming on the show today and getting real with us on so many topics. And also thanks to you so much for listening in and joining me for this episode. If you have any questions, email us at gutfeelings@lovewellness.com. You can DM me or Love Wellness. If you like the show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'm Lo Bosworth, and I'll see you next time on Gut Feelings.